Hi, welcome to my craft room. I am dedicating this card to Kathy for she has requested a sweetheart card for that someone special. And I thought this flocked acetate from the Candlelight Christmas Designer Series paper would be so beautiful. And I want you to see how this no way can pick up the beauty of this acetate. It is just gorgeous. I've taken a strip here and I have the dimensions on the screen for you, and I'm putting it in the vintage wallpaper embossing folder. I want to mirror that pattern that's going on in our flocking. So you have a pattern there, so make sure you take the time to line it up. Okay, and let's just flip these over to the back side. And when you're working with acetate, you want to be careful that whatever you adhere it with doesn't show on the front side. So we're going to be using Scotch tape, and the majority of it is going to go onto our top panel. And I am doing the two corners first, and then I'm bringing in a little piece for the center. The Early Espresso tool is just so cool to work with. I had this kind of tight because I wanted to have more of a masculine look instead of really showing the full fluff of it. And I'm fiddling with my little bow here, trying to get it just the right size. I want it to so that it complements our decorative label. Okay, and I am going to twist this up. Once again, I'm trying to think masculine. So the best way to adhere that on will be with the glue dots. The multi-purpose glue just doesn't hold it as well as these glue dots will. So I'm going to put 3 across the intersection of my designer paper. And then I'll put a couple onto the back of that knot. I want to make sure that it really stays. And then this is going in the left side. And I'm twisting that back up again. And I will just lay that right across those glue dots. And then press those on. I think I'll put a couple of glue dots on the back right where the tool is going to come around the corner, and then one in a little bit further just to secure that down. Okay, and now you want to twist that. You want to carry through with what you have going through the main part of this. So give that a twist. And bring it around. Now I'm going to repeat the same thing on the opposite side. Give it a little twist and press it into those glue dots. And now you're ready to trim it off. And I recommend that you do it at an angle and then angle the opposite side as well. And that'll help eliminate some of the bulk. And you are loved stamp set. Oh, and I love this set. We're going to work with this stamp of the decorative label, and I'm using the Early Espresso. Ink that up, and then I'm working on glossy cardstock, and I really, really love this cardstock. I love how it makes your image just shine. This is the Cherry Cobbler marker, and then I'm using the Real Red, the Wild Wasabi, and the Early Espresso markers. And we're going to start with the Early Espresso, and the main focal point of this image is love. So we're doing that in the Early Espresso, so that'll really pop. The markers seem like a real investment at first when you purchase them, but they are worth every cent because they will last you for years and years. I have markers that I've had probably for 8-10 years. As long as you keep the cap on them once you finish with them, they just have a lot of longevity to them. I'm bringing in the real red now, and I'm doing these little accent flowers. And then I will do my larger flowers down here at the base in the cherry cobbler. I use my markers also when I do watercoloring, so I do get a lot of use out of them. But this coloring on your rubber opens up so many avenues to get more and more use out of those markers and out of your stamps. And this is going to turn out so much more beautiful than if we just went with the one solid color. And now this is the Wild Wasabi, and I think I'll speed this up for you girls. I don't want you falling asleep while I'm coloring. Wouldn't it be nice if we could color this fast? But I find coloring very relaxing. I really enjoy it. And I hope you will try this technique. Okay, now I'm going to go into the base of that butterfly, and I'm adding just a little bit of that early espresso because, like I said, I want this to be more masculine than feminine, so I'm trying to keep that in mind. Now huff on this and then stamp it, and by doing that huffing, the moisture in your breath is going to rejuvenate any of that ink that might have started to dry. And wow, doesn't that look pretty? Okay, and now in case you've never done this before, you can color in just one word from a verse, and that really makes your stamps so much more versatile. One thing I want to tell you though is be very, very careful. You do not touch the lettering beside the word you're coloring in. And you're going to notice that that's what happened to me. But when I color, these things aren't right in front of me. I have them a distance out from me. You want to use the broad tip on your multi-purpose glue to go over this designer paper at the top. Then I'm going to show you a little trick for adhering your acetate down, your flocked acetate. Okay, I'm pointing here just to show you that you want to put your glue dots where the most flocking is because you want to camouflage them. You do not want them showing through onto the right side. That would not be attractive. I'm going to be putting a glue dot in the 4 corners. So there's 1 and 2, and then I'll put several into the center. Make sure that that's really secured down. This is such a beautiful design on this flocking. I love it. Okay, and now let's see. We need to figure out there's very little flocking down near the bottom. So I'll show you a little trick here. You can just press that glue dot so that it rolls over on itself. There's a spot. And then that way you are using half of a glue dot. It's really easier if you do it on the paper before you remove it. There's another spot, and I think I'll add 1 more here at the base. And those are all glue dots that have been folded over. Then I'm going to also add 1 to each side of the tool. I want to make sure this really stays down. And when you go to put this onto your card base, and this is a 10 by 5 glossy cardstock, you tip the acetate up in the air and you want to position the top portion and then let the second part come down. With this decorative label punch, this matches up to this stamp perfectly. So take the time to really get your peaks in nicely. And the large oval. And lastly, the jewelry tag punch. And I did redo that U. Just a teeny tiny little piece of paper, so I wanted to redo it. Take your paper piercing tool and you're going to make a hole right in the center, and I went all the way to the handle, and you're going to repeat that in the curve here of this image and go all the way, because that paper piercing tool gets thicker as it goes up, and I want a generous hole. I'm going to be working with linen thread. Remove your dimensionals off the back, and now we're going to get to see just how beautiful this looks. And just that little bit of early espresso at the base of that butterfly really makes it. I cut about 5 inches of the linen thread, and you're going from the front to the back. And I've given you more than enough here. This is very generous. And once again on the jewelry tag, you're going from the front to the back because we want the knot behind that jewelry tag. We do not want it showing. And then tie your knot. And if you have any problems whatsoever with the linen thread and getting it through those openings, if you take your glue stick and just rub that end of that linen thread into that glue stick and then twirl it so that it makes like a needle, it works great. When you're putting the dimensionals onto this, I want you to put them onto the corners and keep them up into that curve. Okay, and press those on, and now we're going to put another layer of dimensionals on. Because of the thickness of the tulle, we need to have this raised up above it. Boy, what did we do before these dimensionals? I love them. Okay, and now on our little tag, we're going to use a half. And I showed in a previous video how to do that, but if you have any questions, just let me know and I'll explain that to you once again or tell you where to find it. Okay, let's get ready to put that on. So let's get those. See how thick that is? And you want to position that right up by your bow. Okay, looks good. Oh, I can't keep my hands off that bow. I want to fiddle with it. Okay, let's remove this off our tag and position that. And you want this kind of loose. Don't have it so that it's pulled tight. I'm getting that knot behind there, and I want that just slightly angled. And I like it. Okay, girls, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope it's motivated you to be creative. And Kathy, I hope this is something that you like. And until next time, thank you so very much.